Good afternoon. This hearing of the Subcommittee on Readiness and Management Support will come to order. It's a pleasure to convene this hearing with Senator Kaine, the ranking member of the subcommittee. I want to welcome Mr. Bagley and Mr. O'Connor, whom I will both introduce in a moment. Thank you both for being here. The topic of today's hearing is best practices at our shipyards. Our nation's private and public shipyards manufacture and maintain the Navy's ships and submarines. While the workers at these shipyards are largely civilians, they play a critical role in protecting and defending our country. Combatant commanders and the men and women of the United States Navy look to the workers at our shipyards to provide them technologically advanced, reliable, safe, and combat-ready ships and submarines. To fulfill this essential function, shipyards must constantly reassess practices to promote efficiency, performance, and responsible stewardship of our tax dollars. This requires identifying best practices, assessing their impact on performance, and ensuring those best practices are institutionalized and shared. In addition to private shipyards like Newport News, our nation has 4 public shipyards. Each of these public shipyards plays an indispensable role in sustaining our nation's naval readiness, but I'm particularly proud of the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. Portsmouth Naval Shipyard is the Navy's center of excellence for fast attack, nuclear-powered submarine maintenance, modernization, and repair. That is more than just words. The skilled and dedicated workers at Portsmouth have proven it with their performance and their consistent track record of completing projects ahead of schedule and under budget. Here are just a few examples. In April of last year, the workers at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard safely undocked the USS Topeka 20 days ahead of schedule, following an engineered overhaul. In June, following a maintenance availability, the workers at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard returned the USS California to the fleet 14 days ahead of schedule. In September, Portsmouth Naval Shipyard delivered the USS Springfield back to the fleet ahead of schedule and under budget. The excellent performance by the workers at Portsmouth continues with their current work on the USS Alexandria, which is on track to meet its scheduled completion date. The workers at Portsmouth have continued to perform at this high level while already hiring approximately 680 new workers this fiscal year. This amazing track record of accomplishment is due in large part to the labor management collaboration at Portsmouth, the renewal of shipyards' values and pride, or RSVP program, and the Declaration of Excellence. At their root, as our witnesses know well, programs like these are successful because they promote labor management collaboration, empower the workforce, and create a culture that values high standards and continuous learning. These efforts have resulted in tangible best practices that have improved performance and saved time and money, getting submarines back to the fleet sooner. The Navy has recognized this top-notch performance at Portsmouth and the long-term need for the shipyard, as evidenced by the Navy's strong investment in recent years in infrastructure at the shipyard, including its continued commitment to Project P266, the Structural Workshops Consolidation. In order to understand and share best practices at our public and private shipyards, we are joined this afternoon by 2 distinguished and incredibly experienced witnesses. Mr. Ray Bagley is the Vice President of Trades Operations for Newport News Shipbuilding. He is responsible for production labor resources and processes, plant engineering and maintenance, waterfront support services, training, instructional design, and the apprentice school. Mr. Bagley has worked at Newport News Shipbuilding since 1974. Mr. Paul O'Connor is President of the Metal Trades Council at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, representing 2,500 tradesmen and women at the shipyard. His career spans 40 years at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, including work as a journeyman electrician, performing maintenance and modernization work on the Navy's nuclear-powered submarines. Mr. O'Connor is an active member of the Naval Sea Systems Command, or NAVSEA, Labor Management Partnership. I deeply appreciate having the opportunity to meet with and work with Mr. O'Connor for many years now, his leadership at the shipyard. I deeply appreciate both witnesses' willingness to come and appear before our committee today. I would also note that Mr. Stephen Fahey, a nuclear production manager at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, was scheduled to testify and was eager to be here. Unfortunately, at the last minute, he was called away on an assignment. But in a tangible demonstration of the labor management collaboration at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard that has resulted in such strong performance, Mr. Fahey has submitted a written statement for the record. If there are no objections, I request that this statement be submitted for the record. Thank you. I would now like to call on our ranking member, Senator Kaine, for his opening remarks, and I would like to thank Senator Kaine for collaborating with me on this important hearing.